Hi Statesman Nation, here with Demi Coertze, senior from Johannesburg, South Africa. We were talking and then I realized I messed something up, so we'll start over. Appreciate you coming in for a little bit. Let's again talk about, this is your last semester. You've had a storied career thus far, but talk about how it feels going into your last semester here and kind of the expectation, your goals, etc.
Well, I was saying earlier it's extremely bittersweet,
Right.
but anyone would say that, and
Sure.
I would do it over again. I would go through the classes. I would
Yeah.
go through that struggle just so
Sure.
I could keep competing
Right.
because I love to do it. For the semester, I think my goals personally, obviously, is to just have a lower scoring average
Sure.
because it keeps getting lower. So
Right. Yeah. Just keep
so
improving.
that would help. And then obviously for the team to win conference.
Yeah.
Because essentially it's our first conference win in the heart.
Sure. Sure.
So it would kind of be a big deal, I think. So,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
obviously another trip to nationals.
Definitely. Talk about this team now that you guys have a semester under your belt. Just so many new members, and everybody trying to obviously still try to figure out who the top five are. I mean, you guys are kind of in and out all over, a little bit. Some goods and some bads. A lot more goods than bads out there, but. Talk about kind of where the team's standing now, as you guys are really a month-ish, 6 weeks away from competing for that conference title. Where's the team sitting right now?
I mean, we obviously had a struggle. We opened with a bit of a rough start.
Sure.
But I think it was a good wake-up call for everybody. I think it was good for the newcomers to realize that a conference championship is not just going to be handed to us on a silver platter. We're all going to have to work for it together.
Sure.
So I think from that perspective, everyone's kind of ready to get into it and grind it out now.
Sure.
And I think that, I just think that our team is so incredibly deep.
Right.
Our second team could compete as our first team.
Sure.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's an incredibly deep team. There's no reason why we can't be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, it's now up to the coaching staff and for, the players too, obviously, the cream to rise to the top. But then if it's not a situation where there's just 10 very talented players, then it's up to the coaching staff to obviously make a tough decision of who goes and, who actually scores as a five. But
yeah, well, with golf, golf is very up and down.
Yeah.
And so when you do have some of those players that are in their down moments,
Sure.
we are lucky enough to have that depth where some of the other players can come up and kind of step up until those other players are back at where they need to be. So that's kind of why it's nice having so many girls that are able to compete at that level.
Oh, it's a great problem to have. It's a problem that very few schools can say, hey, we have other people. If you're 1 and 2 are struggling, all of a sudden they're just up a creek without a paddle, no other options. So I'm going to talk about this coming week. You guys get to, on actually Monday and Tuesday, you guys are playing over at TPC Deer Run, hosted by us, but obviously off campus. You guys have had opportunities to play there in the past, correct?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to talk about getting to play at another high level course. I mean, you go from one TPC course to another one now, and how that prepares you, and how excited you guys are to be playing another top-notch course.
Yeah, anytime you get to open the season at 2 TPC courses, it's something to talk about. So I think just from that perspective, the fact that we get to play at such a high-level golf course, everyone's kind of excited about.
Right.
Everyone's been working extremely hard since Memphis.
Sure.
Working out some kinks, trying to find their rhythm again. Even though we've had a tournament already, it's still early on in the season.
Right.
So some of that rust is still coming off.
Sure.
But everyone's on the right track. This tournament's very exciting because we have so many good teams coming.
Sure.
We have the Cumberlands coming. We have Bellevue coming. Just a lot of very, very good teams, which will make for a very competitive field.
Right.
I think Coach will said there was something like 17 different teams coming, and it's just girls. There are no guys teams.
So
awesome. It's exciting to have all that competition there. We'll have a full field. All of our girls get to go, whether they're playing or helping.
Sure.
So being over Easter weekend, we all kind of get to hang out as well. So I think it's just overall, it'll be a good experience. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. All right, well, best of luck. This coming tournament on Monday and Tuesday, you guys, you'll have your work cut out for you. Tough course, tough competition, but see where you stand after next week. Hopefully get all those kinks out and ready to roll again. So, alrighty, we'll get to the fun stuff since I thought we had done this in the past, but I guess I didn't. Alright, Demi, what is your nickname?
I don't really have a nickname. People just call me Africa or...
Okay. Well, there's a nickname.
But it's not often, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't really have one.
Sure. All over the place. 4 years ago, you chose to come to William Penn, made that decision to come across the pond. Can you talk about your reasoning for why, and are you happy with your decision?
Well, to keep it short, a lot of people don't know that there were a few teams in our conference now that I was talking to.
Right.
And just the experiences I've had speaking to other coaches versus speaking to Coach Rule, I mean, that was a no-brainer.
Sure.
I don't think you'll get many coaches for women's golf that have so much care on and off the golf course for their team.
Right.
So definitely a good decision from that
Right.
side of things.
Right.
I love my team. All 4 years I've loved my team, and we
Yeah.
just keep growing and growing. So from that perspective, yeah, no regrets here.
Yeah, no regrets in coming.
No.
I don't know how many thousands of miles is it away.
Yeah.
Enough. Describe Coach Rule in one word. Can't use short. At least use short before.
Well, I can't use that. I'm shorter than him.
Yeah.
I need to think of something that won't result in
Okay.
him killing me.
In running or anything like that.
I don't know. Passionate.
Passionate was the exact word I was thinking. I was going to throw that out at you if you didn't come up with it. Okay, if you were a superhero or if you had superpowers, what would you like them to be?
I would love to be Deadpool.
Okay.
I know it's new and it's
hopefully without the language.
it's new and it's generic and everyone loves him, but I think our sarcasm fits one another. So
there you go. Okay.
I could be Deadpool.
All right. People say you look like
Mm.
famous or maybe just a family member.
I've got comments recently, which is kind of strange, that I look like my sister.
Okay.
But people don't really say I look like anyone. They just call me Demi Moore.
Okay. Yeah, right. There's another nickname. See, you have nicknames. Favorite food?
Ooh. It's between steak or lasagna.
Okay. All right. Favorite movie?
The Lion King.
Okay. Favorite TV show?
Ooh, that's difficult. I'm currently addicted to 2 shows:
Okay.
House of Cards
Okay.
and Suits.
All right.
So between those two.
So just binge watching like crazy, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
There you go. You kind of talked about this, but reiterate it again. Your goal in golf when it's all said and done.
It kind of goes hand in hand with what Coach Rule says all the time is you leave the program better than you found it.
Sure.
Otherwise, you haven't had a successful time here.
Right.
And I don't think there's anyone that's ever left the program that hasn't done that.
Sure.
And so, I mean, I already feel like my time here in 3 years, not including this year
Sure.
so far, the program just got better and better.
Right.
And so I want to be able to leave a mark
Sure.
and sort of set a standard that people either meet or break and,
Right. Yeah.
and better.
Sure.
So I think that's overall the end goal.
Yeah, definitely. Currently listening to in your iPod or Pandora or whatever you guys listen to now.
I listen to a lot of dance music.
Okay.
But I really
house music.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
EDM.
Yeah.
But I really, anyone that knows me knows I'll listen to anything.
Sure. Whatever.
I'm a walking jukebox.
There you go. If you had $1 million, what would you buy?
A green card.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could buy that. Okay. If you weren't playing golf, what other sport would you like to play?
Probably field hockey. I
Okay.
did that a lot growing up. And
Sure.
was half decent at it. So
There you go.
probably that.
Sure. Okay. Favorite sports hero?
Gary Player.
Okay. Sure.
South African legend.
Definitely. Definitely. Person in history you'd most like to meet? Again, it doesn't have to be somebody famous. Could be a family member you never had an opportunity to meet.
I'd probably want to meet my great-grandfather's brothers because, I don't know if you know, but in South Africa, rugby is very big.
Sure.
And my great-grandfather and his 2 brothers were the only siblings that all played on the same South African rugby team at once.
Cool.
So I kind of think that would just be cool to know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, they got some good stories.
Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Academically, your digital communication, talk about your career path. What are you looking to do with all that?
Well, lucky for me, the digital communications field is so broad
Sure.
that I really can go into almost anything.
Right.
I like the idea of event planning.
Sure.
I enjoy writing very much.
Sure.
You know that.
Yeah.
But right now, I'd say just something in the media
Sure.
field,
Sure.
whether it be journalism or
Right.
social media platforms or
Sure.
something like that.
Sure. Very cool. Finally, you've had the opportunity to recruit a lot of student athletes. Two on the other side of the camera here. I'm sure you had the opportunity to bring them into Statesman Nation. But just talk about how you would sell a recruit to come to William Penn.
I'd just say that it's not like any experience you'll ever have. I mean, you can go to a D1 school and you can have that life, but
Sure.
William Penn allows you the opportunity to have that life, but
Sure.
in moderation.
Right.
But at the same time, you have a personal connection with your professors, you have a personal connection with your coaches,
Right.
because it's a smaller setting. You have the opportunity to meet more people
Sure.
because it's a smaller campus.
Right.
But in the grand scheme of things, that's, to me, what makes William Penn.
Sure.
Is that
Sure.
you have those personal connections with
Right.
people, and
Right.
they're lifelong. I mean, I've spoken to several alum. We had a tournament over spring break in Florida with alum, and everyone keeps in touch.
Yeah.
And I heard the other day that there was an alum that graduated in 1976, and he's going on a trip with his wife and a bunch of friends they had in college.
Sure.
And so I just
Very
think
cool.
the lifelong,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And obviously, the athletics programs at Penn are great. So.
Right, right. Obviously, why not come to a team that's won, conference titles in the past, going for another one in a few weeks. So, all right, Demi, appreciate you coming in for a little bit. Best of luck to you and your team as you guys play at the TPC Deer Run Invitational next week over in Silvis, Illinois. So, best of luck, happy Easter,
you.
all of that,
Thank
and
you. You too.
enjoy your break.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.